there, it's Cami Gellner and Sarah Bonenkamp, and we are already in our jam session number 6 of this year. How can we already be there? It's number 6, and today we're going to be talking about embodying the brand of you. You guys have the essence of who you are, and we're going to start saying, how do we take that out into the world? What do we do that with this? So welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you here. There's so much that goes on into our brand. Today we're going to really talk about some of the most important elements that help you really shine your light out into the world. So you can look at this. I like this image because it's got, you know, all different sorts of things that you can consider when you think about your brand, your personal brand. And but we're going to take this down a very focused path today. Take a look at this Steve Jobs quote, because the people who are crazy enough to change the world are actually the ones who do. I believe, and I know Sarah believes, that you guys are drawn into this program, in all of the Syzygy coaching programs, because you are crazy enough to believe that you can go out and change the world. And I look across the list of who's on this call, and I know that's very, very true. So it's exciting. And let's go start changing the world.
That's right. This is a quote that I keep on my refrigerator. I see it all the time as that reminder of, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's time to really own your gifts and acknowledge how you matter. Knowing who you are at your very essence, which you guys have all done a lot of essence work, and how you're meant to matter is so important. So stepping into your light, owning your gifts is even more vital. Not stepping into your shining power of you will be like owning a Ferrari and keeping it hidden in the darkness of your garage, never experiencing its full power, its speed, and its smooth agility, right? It's like go hide that car in the garage and never pull it out. That's what this is like. It's time to start embodying your essence and your purpose. And when I say embody, I do mean that it's time for you to step into your power from head to foot, to energetically feel it in your core, your power center. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our power center. In fact, maybe I'll stand up so you can actually see it. If you think about this spot, just let me get in front of the, there you go, just right below your belly button, a couple inches below your belly button, and right in the core of your body. That's your power center. There's all kinds of, there's the Dantian. It can be called in some of the martial arts space. It can be called, Rachel Jane Groover's is all about the, God, how can I forget that? What's it called, Sarah?
All I can think of is the yoni.
You guys will learn about the yoni later.
Yes. So like the lotus flower.
It's our power center. It's the core place. It's our womb space. That's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's where we want this to come from. And so I want you to stand and place your hands a few inches there and just really feel that space, right? Feel it beneath your hands, that place in your body that fills that space between your hand and your spine. So breathe into that space and consider your essence, that part of you, all the things that make up your essence, right? Breathe into how you're meant to matter. This is where we're going to start today. I want you to pull out your essence of you diagram as it stands today. I want you to look at the spokes that make up who you are, your strengths, your passions, your values. And if you've already finalized what your essence of you statement is, I want you to stop for a moment and read it. This is the place that we're going to work from, this essence of who you are and how you shine your light out on the world, how you impact others around you. That big question of how do you want to be known? What is the legacy that you want to leave in your family, in your work, on this world? I want you to take a moment and write down, what do you want to be known for? And this is in the book, isn't it, Sarah, that you sent the workbook? And it's over on the handouts, in the dialog box on the right-hand side. You'll see that there is a handout over there if you didn't get the email. I want you to write this down. What do you want to be known for in your family, in your work, and in the world? So let's just start there. Good stuff.
Again, trust whatever comes up for you as you ponder this question.
Yeah. And who would like to share?
I like that we're just diving right in today, right? Hitting right to it, right from the get-go.
That's right. Who wants to share? What do you want to be known for in your family, in your work, in the world? I think you're all unmuted on this end, so you just have to unmute on your side. Go ahead, Andrea.
Did I love well? Did I connect people? Did I help them express themselves?
Nice. Nice.
I love well. I love that.
Yeah. Who else would like to share theirs? Sandy, go ahead.
Mine was kindness and engagement, problem solver, and better than I arrived.
Okay.
What does engagement mean to you? Can you give me some texture to that?
No, so I mean, I have a very large family, and so I'm not thinking of just my immediate family. So it's really about participating, being involved, really listening, and being engaged with them.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, do you want?
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to add to that, I would love to be known for thriving with autoimmune disease and for building autoimmune awareness globally.
Say it again. Say it. You were a little bit fuzzy there, Heather.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Okay. So thriving with autoimmune disease and building autoimmune awareness globally. That's what I would like to be known for. There's no awareness right now, and I want to build that.
Awesome. You're the one.
Yes.
You are the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Hey, Sarah.
So we've already started to move into embodied brand, right? Connecting with your womb space, and we're going to continue to do that. And think about the concepts that Amy Cuddy, in her TED Talk is all about. She talks about your body language and how it shapes who you are. And she shares how just simple movement of raising your arms high into the air expands your energetic space, bigger and bigger out into the world. She says that sometimes you have to fake it until you make it. Okay? And so we're going to keep practicing putting ourselves out there, and we're going to add this potent addition of connecting to your power center. And so the thing that I'm doing right now, I want you all to do it. Like, put your arms high into the air. Move it bigger and bigger. Right? Just think about, I'm radiating my light and shining it out so much bigger than I was even just 2 minutes ago. Right? That I can energetically pull this bigger, shining it out.
And if you connect that space of your arms that's out there, this light that you're creating around you, back into that womb space, back into your power center, it's really incredibly powerful, guys.
Right. It's just a simple movement of, let's just get bigger and think about these big intentions. Amazing shifts in your energetic space can happen, right? And this is something that we do consistently in our equine vision journeys. Right? We've got participants that will walk into the arena and send out a really big intention for how they want to matter. right? And then they always start from their power center, right? And they raise their arms high as they make their powerful declaration statements. And it's with big voices, big intentions, and big movements that they start to really feel the power of that inner Ferrari, right? That inner Ferrari rises to the surface in new ways. That's the energy level that we're looking to connect with today as you are embodying your gifts and your purpose and figuring out how does this really connect with my personal brand. So when you step into this personal essence, your life literally changes. Right? The scattered, too many things to do rhythm of your life transforms into the intentions, those sparks of empowerment, that bigness that you're bringing into the world. Right? It's that stream of positive energy flowing. It's that life's energy. Right? Things come easily because the window is open wide. Right? The heart settles into a place of deep contentment. Right? I know that Rachel Jane talks about when you're in that womb space and creating that power center, that gives a place for your heart to rest. It can drop down and totally feel supported and ready to move. Right? So your window's open wide, your heart is settled, and your obstacles will just melt away to shine the light on the possibilities that were always there. So this radiating, huge.
Yes, it is huge, I would love to hear from a few of you. What does that feel like? What changes in your body when you've been doing, just kind of playing in this, and just for a couple of minutes? Love to hear from you.
I know my heart is already feels more open, and I just feel alive more.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Totally. Anyone else want to add to that?
Hi, this is Colleen. You know, it kind of hits you, strikes me at how hard it is to, I should say this in a positive way, but how it's hard to have negative thoughts when you're having those big intentions and you're moving and you're looking around and moving your body and feeling good. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I immediately sort of took a deep breath at first, and I started to do that, and I'm like, oh, this feels better. And then you start to think about those things, of all those lists of things I need to do, et cetera, and it's hard to hold on to those when you're like, hey, I want to think bigger right now. So it's an amazing practice, and I have to say it's something that it's a perfect timing today, and I have to really hold on to. I'm realizing when you, as you guys know, when you work more by yourself, working from home, you can find yourself sort of not moving and not having those big conversations with energy because you're having them with yourself. But how important it is to just,
I mean, even if it's walking down the hall to your office, right, where you start practicing this, go outside, walk around your house with that kind of an intention behind you, it can light up things inside of you that helps you just dig in and dive into things in a bigger way. Practice it going through the grocery store. That was something that Rachel Jane said a few weeks ago when I was at her class. It was like, walk into the grocery store and just notice what happens, right? Just notice how people respond and react to you differently.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I like that. And Colleen, for whatever reason, I thought about, like, since we're working at home all the time, like, maybe there's this connection that we need to make to remind ourselves to do this. So, like, maybe every time we go to the bathroom and, like, we walk out of the bathroom, it's like, I'm here. Like, I've got this new opportunity. So let's kind of think about some practices that we do regularly anyway, and how can we connect this to it. That might be helpful for us, because I like that idea. Like, we're home and, you know, get hunkered down in our computer. Like, how do we bring that out?
Yeah, and if you have like a favorite yoga pose or something that really empowered. You know, if you're sitting at your desk and then suddenly you're doing a warrior two and you're sort of really gazing down at your fingers, or doing a tree. It is just, you know, momentarily empowering, and then you can carry that on. It's pretty awesome.
I love that. I find your pose to go with this, right, where you're tapping into it. And so you're resonating, right? So what happens is something different happens with you as you start to resonate. And so I want you to consider for a moment different people in your life and how they make you feel. How do they resonate with you? Some people, just by being in their presence, will energize you and create this kind of buzz, right? For an enthusiasm for life and living, and you start to feel it yourself. And others will totally deplete your energy. They will drain you dry, and you'll leave their presence feeling worn out and exhausted. So you think of people on both sides of that. The energy of these two types of people resonate very differently. There are all kinds of energies in between. So there's the spectrum, right? There's the spectrum of the depleting and the fulfilling and uplifting. And when we open up our bodies to experience of different energies, we can feel them. And this is how people really resonate. And it matters, guys, what kind of energy you're putting out into the world. It's true that you resonate different energies and frequencies at different times in our lives, right? Depending on what's going on in your world at the time. When you're on fire with excitement with something, you're going to vibrate differently than when you've just lost someone really close to you in your life. So there's going to be this spectrum that you're going to be going through. Yet I always believe that if there is a conscious choice we can make about how we show up in the world, even in those most difficult situations. I believe that we're exactly where we're supposed to be in our life at any given moment. I think I posted that on the Facebook group this morning, is trusting in this, right? It's trusting that we are exactly where we're supposed to be. And I believe that there's a silver lining in every experience that we move through on our journey, this spiraling journey that we're on. And even in the most difficult situations, we can ground ourselves in the very purpose of our life. So when we get those tough situations, if we stop and kind of tune back in, move into some of those difficult conversations that we have to have, we show up in a different way. It's how we resonate. I mean, I've been having this, right before I got onto this call, I was on the phone with my son, and his father has been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and it's tough conversations that he's having. And so helping him step into that grounded space, helping him, maneuver through the conversations that he's having right now by, just paying attention to how he's showing up. I know he's showing up in a beautiful, strong sort of way for the family, because he's taking a leadership role in that space. So how he's resonating, even in that very tough and difficult situation, I know he's bringing light to the situation. So just think about how is it that you embody you in that journey, and how you manage this in our day-to-day lives, no matter what the circumstances are. So consider for a moment, just in general, how do you resonate with others? When you're embodying your purpose and doing things that you love, I can promise you that your shining light will resonate brighter, and it's going to uplift others around you. And this is how you create a legacy that matters.
That's right. So your brand is all about how people experience you, right? This journey to the understanding of who you are and how you matter and how you shine your light into the world is the foundation of your personal brand, and that's why we've started here, right? It's not like, okay, let's just start thinking about some really cool buzzwords and some neat things. It's like, no, what is this authentic, vulnerable awesomeness that you bring to the table, right? So your personal brand is how people experience you, how you show up in life, how you dress, how you represent what you stand for, both in your work and in your personal life. And at the end of the day, it's how you make people feel. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that an important part of your brand ties to the understanding of who your ideal customer or client or prospect is, and what keeps them awake at night, what makes them worry at night, what's their biggest pains and their challenges, and how you can help to solve those problems. In fact, this is what we presented we did just last week in our business webinar that we did, right? It was all about what entrepreneurs need to create a business that they love and make the money that they want, and it was about who are your people. Right? And today, we're really talking about your personal brand and how it is all about staying true to you and then how, more importantly, you step into that to shine and impact other people. So we're going to dig into this important question about how people experience you. And so you're going to see a couple of questions on this next slide, right, that are really, really critical. And be sure to take a couple of notes as you are pondering these things. So how do you want people to experience you? Right? You know how you are, but think about that ideal, perfect you. Right? What do you want that feel to be like? How might you represent your brand in the words that you choose? What feelings do you want to invoke? Right? How might you represent your brand in colors, in the clothing that you wear? Right? I'm wearing a shirt today and it says I'm sold out, right? Because I want to be like, I'm moving from my soul. I'm a soul sister, whatever it is. And like brightness.
And I chose this color because it's bright.
Yeah, brightness, joy, grounded. Just think about those things. All of those things definitely wrap into that feel, right, that brand. And so I sometimes like to think of my brand and those words in terms of hashtags because I love social media. And so if I were to, sit down and think about the words that I choose to describe myself or represent me, I do like hashtag rockstar, hashtag lady boss, hashtag hustler, hashtag badass, hashtag lover, right? Andrea, I think that you and I probably share that one, right? We've got hashtag leader. So that might be a really fun thing for you to do, or a fun way to approach it is to think about, all right, if I were to, give myself some signature hashtags, what would they be?
I love that, and I think we should get people sharing what their signature hashtags are out on our Syzygy circle.
Yes.
That would be a good one.
That would be so fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's all about knowing who are you, what do you want, right? And this next piece is, I think, one of the most important things that you need to take away from today's webinar. There's always this conversation that comes up as we're coaching, and I know I hear it all the time. I know Cammie hears it all the time, is that there's this idea that I'm a different person at work than I am in my personal life. Right? My husband was joking about this because he was teaching a class last week, and he was talking to this gal saying, what his wife does, and evidently she went and saw me on Twitter and saw my Twitter profile and all the things that I tweet about, and she came back the next day and said, "Is your wife always this happy?" And he laughed. He was like, "Well, when she's talking about her work, she is." I was like, damn it, I want to have this feel of I'm happy no matter what. And so that was a good aha for me, that I need to really be connecting my personal life with my professional life, and that it isn't in this situation I show up this way and in this situation I show up in this other way. It's like, no, this is my life. I am a whole person. I am bringing me to the conversation every time, no matter what people I'm around, what the situation is, my environment, whatever. Right? So this is just a reminder to you that no matter who you are, be grounded. Right? Be your authentic self. It's not different for when you're at work than it is at home. It's just you. And so I invite you to master the art of translating this newfound awareness of who you are into how people are consistently experiencing you.
So another key part of defining your personal brand requires that you understand to whom you want to matter. How are those gifts you want to be helping people with? Who's your tribe? And knowing how you want to help them and what you want to be known for, whether it's your work environment, volunteer opportunities, or your personal life. So people make your world go round, right? It's highly likely you cannot step into the life that matters without a tribe of people around you. It's just probably not likely to happen. Chances are you're going to have to get out, and you're going to have to step out and expand your circle of influence and network of connections. And I'm talking about real connections. This is not the kind of stick your business face in the card of somebody else and as many people as you can. It's like the whole, that whole networking, what is that called? Speed networking. That is like the most obnoxious thing in the world. It needs to be meaningful connections and shared support. And this means you need to get to know the people in your tribe, those people in whose lives you want to make a difference. It means that understanding what you need in what they need in their lives, and approaching every connection with, how can I help you? It's a different question about going into a room and thinking, oh, what can people do for me? If you change that and you flip it and you say, how can I help you? Your conversations are going to, your relationships are going to change, your conversations are going to change, and the outcomes of those relationships are going to change. You're just going to be much deeper. And so if you approach these new connections with a helping energy, the reciprocal will flow back exponentially, and I can promise you guys that. It happens that way. So I like to tell this story. So behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I love about our whole Syzygy circle is what's happening here. And the connections and the creations that's happening between you guys is really heart-touching to me. And I can tell you, in my last working years in the corporate world, and I got laid off, and I was working, before I got laid off, I had so many, I was working so many hours, I had no time for making connections or networking. I mean, I didn't have time. Only people that I knew were the people that were in my working community. And in fact, when I left, on that first day that I left that job, I had 6 connections on LinkedIn. So, you know, I know you guys know that I'm in a very different situation today. My community, my tribe is something that makes me unique. I'm very proud of my tribe and how they support one another. And it's you guys, it's the whole community, it's Extraordinary Women community. It's a wonderful women like each of you that makes it strong and powerful. So how many times have you heard me say, I love to connect great women to great women? I'm always saying that, right? It's become part of my brand. I'm a connector. So it's who I am. And it took a lot of time and diligence to change this, from my 6 to what I have today in my community. But today I have a network of such amazing women doing amazing things in their lives. Some of my clients, some of them are great influencers. I mean, I'm so honored by some of the people who have said yes to doing an endorsement for my book. It's because I make connections. It's because I take time. And some of them are dear friends, and all of them are based in real relationships. So a couple of tips for making meaningful, long-lasting connections with your tribe. Always connect the people in your tribe, or always approach the people in your tribe with, how can I help you? Get to know what makes your tribe tick, what excites them, what is keeping them awake at night, what emotions dance in their lives, what lights them up, right? Get to know where your tribe hangs out and engage with them. Find places to go be with your tribe. Consider if there's a way you can connect to your tribe in shared meetings. I sit on a couple of different boards, nonprofit boards, and I surround myself with my tribe there. We get the opportunity to work together on causes that make a difference, and this is a beautiful way to connect. I love that way. And I already mentioned skip the speed networking. Connect with people around your passions. So if you like to hike, join a mountain club. If you like to read, join a book club. There's something for everyone. So find ways to connect with people and to build your community that way. And nurture those connections you do make. Reach out to people occasionally to see what's going on in their life. Just pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on? They will appreciate it. Go get a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and make it real, make it personal. And at the end of the day, it's all about expanding who you know, showing up authentically in your full essence, that whole you coming forward, and being clear about what it is you stand for. And this is what builds consistent personal brands, and that's how they're built, by being you, by resonating positive energy with, and by growing your connections.
Absolutely. And trusting that they love you right frickin' back.
Right, right. So who's your tribe? Where do you find them? Just jot that down.
Can I share about my tribe?
Oh, yes, please.
So I think it's a really important opportunity for everybody to write about who your ideal tribe is. And so I tried to practice what I preached today, and so I just drove down to a little creek that's not too far from my house. I had my journal, and I just decided to ask myself the question, who's my tribe? And I'm going to just read to you what came up for me as I thought about these amazing women. says it's the tribe of women who have my back are brave. They've paved their own ways into their power. They've lived lives that have pushed them to face their fears head on and come out on the other side looking fucking amazing. That's how I felt. They witness my struggle, my beauty. They remind me I am limitless. They see things in me that I rarely see in myself. They offer kind words of reassurance. They call me on my bullshit. They push to shine my light brighter. Through their struggles, I find strength. They're trailblazers. They show up when called. They show up any damn time they choose and stand up for what's right. They provide a voice for those who can't speak up. They're movers. They're hustlers. They're no bullshitters. They want what they want, and they're not going to apologize for it. They're absolute risk takers. They love the earth and the animals like their own children. They believe in love. They believe in the mystical. They dance, they sing, they cry, and they feel, and they aren't afraid to show the pain in their hearts because they are courageous. They know vulnerability is the fastest way to connection. My tribe loves hard. They've got my back no matter what. They know just what to say and when to say it. They wow me with the size of their hearts and the velocity in which they move. They don't ask for permission, they act. They're divinely guided. They trust. They know their worth. They don't always have all the answers, but not for long. They do the work others just talk about. They do it for their souls, the people they love, the passion in their hearts. Yes, my tribe is full of rock star beauties, each who have a story of amazing courage and tenacity. They despise mediocrity, and they shine every day, shooting sunbeams out of their faces. So that was really specific, and it should move you when you're writing about your tribe. So I want you to go deep, and I want you to be vulnerable and just think about what is it that you need to surround yourself with so that you feel that you've got that support to totally be who you are.
That was frickin' gorgeous and beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for letting you all be a witness to me sharing that.
Yeah, and that's one that you need to not let go. You need to hang on to that, and that needs to be, I mean, it's part of your brand, right? Because that is the essence of what you're bringing, and the people in your community. So that's really strong. So highly recommend all of you go spend some time really writing this. Who is your tribe? Where do you find them? What do they feel like? What drives them? Oh, that was beautiful, Sarah. That was freaking beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all about that brand, baby. Knowing what you need in your life.
Yes. So we're going to look at a couple of brands that that we admire, and I want you to think about what brands you admire, especially in the field of work that you're in. So Sarah and I have come up across some brands in this last week that we really admire, and some of them we follow regularly. One of them, you'll recognize this, Heather. This is Chris Carr, and Heather's the one that actually showed this one to me. And I love this one. She's a wellness coach, and she works with people who have health issues like cancer. And so one of the things that you think about cancer, you don't think about crazy, sexy, healthy when you're thinking about cancer, right? That's not something you think about. So she is helping people get healthy who are going through some sorts of health challenges. And just look at the feel of what, the smile on her face. She's in this old, very kind of cool old truck. She has got pink in her hair, or maybe it's a pink earring there. She's got all kinds of energy going on down below where she's, the big energy, the kicking up her heels, the connecting with nature and the cow. She's all out in nature. I mean, so all these things, you get a feel for who she is. You start to want to, something about her makes you want to know who she is, right? There's something curious and interesting about her. Another one, and this is one that actually Sarah has been followed or tuned me on to several months ago, and I've been following her too, and I really think she's super, super cool. Her her name is Lola, and where's all of her name? I don't even see all of her name on here now.
Well, and she changes her name from time to time because she embodies different animals, and so sometimes it's Lola Jaguarette, like a jaguar, or sometimes it's Lola Medicine Woman Pickett, and it's just, she changes it. So Lola Pickett is her name, but
Lola Pickett, yeah. And so she's a medicine woman, so a shamanic counselor, a totemic oracle, full-time. I'm here to help you unlock your wild magic and create the life you deserve. My life was normal plus tame. It was once normal plus tame, right? You don't feel that she's normal and tame anymore, right? Unleash your wild in Peru, wild playground. You know, so you get a feel for what kind of energy she's bringing, how she resonates out into the world. Crave wildness, right?
Yeah. I like her a lot. She's cool. She's got a killer podcast, too, if anybody's looking for some inspiration. And the next one is a coach that I actually work with. She's a coach for coaches a lot of the time, and her name's Kat Loterzo. She's from Australia. And she, as you can see, is all about doing the work. And you just look at the titles of some of the books that she's written and the language that she chooses. And yes, she swears, but she is unapologetic about it. It's her. It's a part of her brand, and her people absolutely love her. They're fiercely loyal to her, and she makes a ton of money. She actually just posted on her Facebook page about her April revenue, because she has a really strong message around making the money that you want to make, and she made $182,000 just last month in her online coaching business. Right? And so she puts her shit out there, and she doesn't ask for permission. She doesn't care if you like it or not. She's like, if you like it, then you're going to be attracted, and that's it. If you're not, then go find another place to be. Like, she's so in her zone that it turns me on. Like, some people might say, holy shit, that's way too much for me, but for somebody like me, it totally resonates. And so she's a great example of doing business her way. It's in alignment with her strengths and in her passions, and she calls in her tribe of rock stars. She talks about working with the 1%, right? And that includes me. And this next one is another powerful coach, and you may have seen her book. She wrote the Firestarter Sessions, and Danielle Laporte. I really admire how she has brought all of the lines of business that she does together in this one brand, and to me it's a brand of love. Right? She is all about loving on yourself, loving on your tribe, loving everything, your imperfections, and I just love it. It's got her signature, right? It's her style, and it just feels beautiful when I see it. And she, has some great, she calls them truth bombs that she puts out there that are just really powerful messages. So what resonates? What do you want people to see when they're looking at you? You may not have a website. You may not, have all this stuff that people can outwardly see, but they're, people think in pictures, right? What are they going to see when they think of you? What are they going to feel when they think of you?
Okay, so what do you want to be known for? It doesn't matter whether you're in the corporate world or an entrepreneur. Asking yourself this question is really, really important. Sarah's got the hashtag epic shit, right? So people, you guys connect that with her. I am often talking about your next chapter. So there's what are the words that you want to be known for? And so you start with your brand essence. You add some element of surprise. You make it personal because it's all about your essence. And you make it memorable, a short recall, something that people will recall, they will remember, they will start to connect with you on. So now we're going to dig into how do you start. So this is kind of what we've been talking about, is that umbrella messaging. Who are you? What do you stand for? How do you show up in the world? How are people quickly resonating and connecting to who you are? But where we're going to start to move now is we have the opportunity to make messaging, memorable messaging, on a day-to-day basis. Those sound bites, right? And what's happening is the shrinking sound bite. You think about, 10 years ago, how long somebody's attention span might last, how long they would stay connected into your message before they tuned out. It was much longer. You'd probably get 20 to 30 seconds. It's down much closer to like 3 to 5 seconds at this point. I think a fish has about an attention span. I think I saw the statistic is they have a 7-second attention span. We're less than that. So something to be, so when you are thinking about sound bites, you want it to be surprising. And how about my headline a few weeks ago? I know that caught some people off of their balance a little bit. So it was, balance is overrated. Is that something that I would typically say? I mean, you know me, I'm always talking about, you know, bringing balance into your life, but I did a live stream the other day that said balance is overrated. And I know Rita jumped on it right away. She was like, what? And so it's not something you'd expect from me. So there was an element of surprise. Other ways that you might think about, and it's, you can, as you are doing any, whether you're doing a blog, whether you're doing a live stream, a Periscope, you know, if you're doing a talk, you want to be thinking about what are these sound bites that people will tap into. If you're doing an interview, you want to have sound bites that can help that whoever is interviewing you, you know, that little hook that helps them tap into what you're doing. So they can be, you want them to be surprising. You want them, you could start them with a question. Some personal examples that you could do, something like, this is embarrassing, pages from my journal. You know, so Sarah just shared something very personal, right? How did that make you guys feel? You guys tapped into it. You felt into it. Other personal examples, I'm going to just run through a list of them that you might use. That could be a tag, a hook that pulled somebody into it. I got fired. People are going to go, what was that about? Or the biggest mistake I ever made, or the best thing I ever said to my kids, or my 3-year-old said the most surprising thing. How Tim and I heal every argument. My trip to Peru. The hardest thing I've learned this year. This scares me. Those are all great personal examples that you might use. Some of the overused ones might be number of ways that you do, 3 ways that you can do XXX, or how to do, something. So those kind of get overused. So try to get more creative with your headlines. Controversial can be another way to create a great soundbite hook. It can be, here's one that's, why spiritual women are always broke. That's an interesting one, right? You could take a trending topic. One I saw the other day was Hillary or Oprah. That's certainly, if it's going to have controversy, it's going to have trending with that one, right? The conversations they're having in their head now, that's a huge gem. When you think about your network of people that you want to connect with, what conversations are going on in their head right now? So the workshop title, the webinar title that Sarah and I did a few weeks ago was, My Clients Love Me, So Why Am I Broke? So that, there's a little bit of a, that's a conversation that a lot of new entrepreneurs are having. It's like, oh yeah, I have great clients, but I'm not driving the kind of revenue that I really want to drive yet. So it's looking for things like that. But what they should always be is they should be short, they should be standalone, they should be memorable, and they should be attention grabbing. So as you're thinking about how you're putting yourself out there with your work, these are some good tips that you can use.
I did a Periscope the other day about falling flat on my face. So that was the header. Is like, I fell flat on my face last night. And they're like, people are like, what? Did you literally fall, or what was the deal? So have fun with it.
Yeah, totally. Now this is a document that I actually used to use in the corporate world. And so part of what I did with this framework was train people on how to be thought leaders. How they went out into the media to speak, to write papers, anything. And it was all about how they got out and how they became known for what they stood for. It was, they were a thought leader, and, for example, and the work that I used to do, they were thought leaders in the oil and gas industry. Thought leaders on alternative energy kind of things. And so this, the way this works is you've got this hook that you want to have, and you you think about what your hook is. And people can only remember so many, if you're doing an interview, if you're doing speaking opportunities, and you're looking for ways that to create a framework for the conversations that you're going to have, people can only remember so many things. So that's why there's 4 items around this soundbite hook. And it's how you, if you spend the time getting this hook, what are the facts that are going to support that? What are the newsworthy or the relevant messages that you want to bring forth when you're having conversations? And you can add some proof points to this. You can add stories. You can add analogies that bring the message to life. It adds breadth and depth to utilize it in an interview or a speech, or it's just another way to look through. It's a great framework to take and look through your messaging. I'll give you an example. And I just pulled this together last night. So soundbite hook that I often use, are you ready for your next chapter? So you often hear me say that. And some of the supporting facts around that might be 7 in 10 women are going to make a transition within the next 2 years. You know, they're hearing a calling for, I could add in more facts down here. They're hearing a calling for something more. They've got, they know they want to do something different, but they don't know what that is. You know, so those are some things that I could build that out with. Secondly, they're feeling stuck, right? They're ready to take control. They're crazy busy. Their life is they're working 70-hour weeks. They're carting their kids all over the place, and they're feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling they don't know what to do. They're stressed, and they're even lonely in all of this. And I could build off of that. I could tell my own personal story about when I was in the corporate world, and I often do. When I'm out speaking, this is a story that I'm often saying, I get it. I was making myself sick all the time, you know, so this is a great, you know, part of my story. Often the women that I work with, they're looking to discover a passionate and meaningful next chapter in their life. It's something that makes them more money and more impact. Here I could start to bring in some client stories. I could say, you know, there's, you know, X percentage of women who are starting their own companies or are moving into different types of roles. I mean, I could bring different types of facts into this. And then the last one here is they want to feel stronger. They want to be more confident, more vibrant. They want to shine their light out. They want to make that ripple effect in the world. They really want to matter. They want to create that legacy. Again, I could tell another client story. So this is a great little tool for you to just, if you kind of just think through when you're having communications, how you are creating this soundbite hook, the first of all, and what are the supporting facts around it. And then you can use it for all sorts of things. You can use it for interview. I mean, I think I see a lot of interviews going on. You know, like Sarah, you've been doing a lot of interviews. It's a great way to connect with other people, like people in your tribe, and go on some sort of different radio type interviews or podcast interviews. And if you think about it in these chunks like this and know what's that core key message that you want and give them a soundbite, it's going to be a more powerful interview. Okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
All right. So you are feeling different about your brand today, right? You are moving from a grounded space, an embodied space. You're thinking about what are those hooks. And so once you are feeling like, yeah, I think I know what my brand is, it's about putting it out there, right? And putting your brand out there can come in a lot of different forms. And it can be obviously verbal, right, in the words that you choose, the tone of your voice, in the nonverbal realm. It could be the images that you're choosing to post on Facebook, or how others are talking about you, right? Do you have a bunch of raving fans? Because if you can engage others in helping to put your brand out there, how freaking amazing is that, right? You've already seen that Cami and I have already done that for the women, you know, that we were just highlighting, because man, it's hard not to talk about them because they're so amazing, right? And so I want you to just think for a second about the ways that you currently are putting your brand out there, right? And what are the words that you're choosing? You know, what does your nonverbal communication feel like, right? What are those images that matter most to you? Who's talking about you? Right? These things are all very important to your brand. Right? I'm not sure that you know that person, that negative Nelly on Facebook, that all she ever does is bitch about how poor her life is, or about the stupid people that are doing things in her life, or the things that just make you feel down. Right? You're not going to be that. But what are those messages? So we're going to dive into that a little bit, and we're going to start with the verbal piece, and it's verbal through writing. Right? Because it seems like a lot of the stuff that we do in today's world is either through a text message or an email or a Twitter post or a Facebook something, or there's a lot of just writing that happens. And so we've talked about Tara Moore before. Tara Moore, she wrote Playing Big, and she's got a wonderful download. And so we're going to pull up this next image, and I want you to think about for a second, if you are in your writing articulating the brand the way that you really should be. Because you know what, it's really easy, and especially as women, to get into some limiting language. And it's all, think very, moves from an intention of, I'm just really trying to make sure that you understand, or that I'm coming at you in a way that you're going to be able to receive it. But oftentimes we diminish our brands with some of the words that we pick. And so in a second, this slide should hopefully pop up, so that y'all can see a list. And you're going to have to maybe put your reading glasses on to see it. This is something that we can post out in the circle if it's not already there. But just look at this before you hit send email checklist. And I love this first one because I am totally guilty of using just. Oh, I'm just checking in to see how things are going. I just wanted to know if you've had a moment to make a decision. I just wanted to ask you a question. Right? Or actually, this is what I think. So let me get a little bit smaller and kind of ease it in, because what I really mean is, I don't want to step on your toes. Oh man. So I actually went and looked at my emails, and I use this shit all the time, and it's like, huge opportunity. The second one, checking for unnecessary apologies. Right? I'm sorry if this is a silly question. No, it's a question. It's not silly. Just say, I have a question. Own it. Right? The third one, check for any added a little bit, or just a minute, just a sec, where you're suggesting that your time, is just not as valuable as anybody else's. I just need a little minute. No? Right? And then you can see the other ones here. I think that this is just a really good gut check for us to say our language is definitely talking to us, or talking to others about our brand. Right? And not
Sarah,
always in a great way.
I think this is such a great checklist. And even going back to this, when you're putting your brand out there with all these different ways, everyone, regardless if you are an entrepreneur or whether you are in the corporate world, know that you are putting your brand out on a day-to-day basis. And these are the sorts of things, all these, the verbal, the nonverbal, the images, the raving fans, it's the same thing in the corporate world. A lot of the examples that we've given here have been entrepreneurial based, but it doesn't matter. It's how do you want to be known? How are people perceiving you? And if you're playing into all these limiting ways that you talk and you communicate, it's going to carry forward in how you're perceived in the relationships that you have, whether you're an entrepreneur or the corporate world.
All right. Absolutely. And I know when I was in the corporate world, and even still today, I catch myself with that last one, that checking for, does that make sense? And as a trainer, that was hardwired into me. It's like, you should always check for understanding. And so when I read that one, I was like, oh my God. I didn't even know that that was in some ways making me feel, or making me appear to be, less confident in the things that I had to say. And so outside of the just, that's the one that I'm working on. I know that it makes sense. How does that sound to you might be a better way to frame that. So we've talked a bit about the writing and the way that you're speaking, and now I want to move into kind of your social visibility, because let's face it, love it, hate it, social media is here to stay. And if you really want to embody your brand, you've got a huge opportunity to leverage the heck out of social media and to attract that tribe of lovelies that you really want to have in your life. So this really could be an amazing tool for you. And so I'm just going to talk quickly just for a moment about some of my favorite ways to leverage social media to put my brand out there. And so Cammie's going to give me control for just a second so I can show you my desktop. And while she does that, I'm going to show you my newest and I think really, really cool social media opportunity. So
You've got it.
Cool, 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 cool. So I'm going to just show you my phone really quick. And Snapchat is a newer, well, it's not new. It's been around for several years. I'm finally just getting on the bandwagon because I've resisted it, because I do a lot of social media. I'm like, I don't need another brand or another thing to have to manage. But when you're choosing how you want to be visible and who you want to attract, Cammie already said it. She said, you've got to go hang out where your tribe is. And I love working with millennials. And so if I want to attract those puppies in, then I need to go where they are, and they're on Snapchat. And so basically, it's a way to send images to people about who you are. And so Grant Cardone is one that I follow. And basically, you can do video. You can do pictures. You can write on top of your screen. There's different filters that will come up. And he's just sending messages all the time about who he is and his brand, and he's all about 10X, right, going big. So Snapchatting is fun. I did one the other day when I was just journaling, and so I did a snap of my journal. And it's the behind the scenes, like who are you as a person, right? Because there's this feel that people are like over the edited piece of you, right? They really want to see all of you. Makeup, no makeup, kids, no kids, at the grocery store, what music are you listening to? Like, they want that insight. And so this is a really important key. Like, this is a gold piece right here. I don't care what social media you use. If you're using, you know, Snapchat or Facebook or Twitter, you have to be authentic, and you have to be willing to bleed on the page, right, to show all of your vulnerability. Or LinkedIn, yes, and I'm going to show you those in just a quick sec. But you've got to be able to just say, here is me in all of my glory. Right? And so don't just pick and choose the days that you have great hair or that you feel like you have a really great story to share. I mean, it's like, how do you get people to see the real you? So Snapchat, super easy and fun. If you want millennials, go there. There's a lot of non-millennials and a lot of brands that are using it. Right now, can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
Cool. Pinterest. Pinterest is really visual, and so if you've got something in, you know, your brand where you're real creative and you're creating just things that, you know, make people happy, maybe you're a great cook, for instance, you can post your recipes out there. I mean, just know that visual is for things that are really, Pinterest is good for things that are really visual.
Heather,
Instagram.
that would be good for you. I'm thinking as, you know, the wellness and the food pieces would be a great place.
Absolutely. Pinterest is not just for people that are trying to plan weddings or have baby showers or anything. Just know that there's a lot of really cool stuff. Go and search coaching on Pinterest and you'll be blown away. The next thing I want to talk about is Instagram, because it's also very, very visual. And I'm just going to show you an example of my brand. I'm the millennial coach, the mill coach, and things that I post to my Instagram are, again, all about the brand of epic shit, right, of not allowing mediocrity in your life. And so you can just quickly, you know, if you were going to look to hire me, you could go and just look at my Instagram and get a pretty good feel about the things that I care about. Right, just by the images. A quick thing, you can also do short 15-second videos, and so if you want to have a little message of the day, you can do that. You can see here that I'm a mom, that I like things that are kind of Western, things that have swear words in them sometimes, I mean, whatever. But you can honestly see. I do a lot of black and white because I think it's classic, it's crisp, it just works for me. Right? I think Maryland's cool, so it's a really nice way to get you know, if you're looking to attract a tribe, you can just go, bam, see it. What do they really care about? Now, Facebook is absolutely something that I think everybody needs to be on if you're caring about your brand, because it's the biggest, right? It's the biggest player. Everybody's there, and there's some really cool things that are happening. And so you can see, I'm just showing you my page really quick, that there, again, you can just go to your pictures and see, all right, what are some of the photos that they post about. But when I'm doing a post, I'm going to just give you an example. It's not just about throwing up a pretty meme or a quote and being like, that was awesome. It's like, no, what do you really care about, Sarah? What's that vulnerability that you want to share? How are you going to bleed on the page? And so this is an example of taking something that was trending. So this is the girl, her name's Alex Bloomer. She's a TV personality, and her boyfriend's a bull rider, and so she kind of runs in the circles of people that I attract in my tribe. And she went on Facebook and made a huge rant about how shitty millennials are. And so when I first read it, or when I first watched it, I was like, oh, she's talking bad about my people, and I hated that. And so I just used that as a part of my post to say, you know, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on what she's got to say about millennials. I said in a rant, and so you can say I used the word rant. It's like, okay, that's not always a good term. Like I probably didn't like what she had to say. She said, I pretty much realized that we're just existing and we're not really contributing anything to society. And anyway, I go on to talk about why I'm so thankful that my clients are nothing like that. Right? And so you can post video, you can post your images, but at the end of the day, why is it that you care about it? Make sure that you're weaving that part into your story. And then I want to show you something really cool, and Cammie mentioned it, that there's now Facebook Live. Right, and Facebook is a live stream. You can do it in groups, you can do it from your page, but you can't do it from your laptop. You actually have to do it from your phone. And so this is something where you're going to pretend like you're going to do a post, right? And so you're going to see that there's a little image with a person, and then there's little circles around their head. If you were to click that, then it gives you the opportunity to give it a description. And that's where Cammie was saying that she posted the balance is overrated. And so you give it a really cool hook, and then you're just going to go and push go live, and it'll give you the 3, 2, 1 countdown, and bam, you've got the ability to share your brand, to share your visibility in a whole different freaking level. Right? And you might only have a few people that join you live, but it's amazing to watch the replay and the comments that people are getting. And people are always questioning, you know, do I put it on my personal page or do I put it on my professional page? And I say you put it both places. And if your people, like you're worried about, oh, I'm going to be spamming people with my messages or whatever, I think you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision on if you truly believe in your freaking message or not. And if you truly believe in your message and you're authentic 100% of the time, then you know that your people are going to love it. And if somebody doesn't, then they were not meant for your tribe. Right? So let them decide to opt out. Don't opt out for them. Use this stuff. The final one that I'm going to talk about, and just know that if anybody's got specific questions about how to leverage the power of social media, definitely reach out. We can spend some time chatting through what might be the right thing for you. But at the end of the day, remember it's about where are your people hanging out and what just intuitively feels good. Right? There are so many different ways that you can be social. LinkedIn, Periscope, Facebook, I mean, whatever. I don't think that you should be everywhere. You need to go where your people is and what feels right. And one that really feels right to me, one that I absolutely love, is Twitter. And talk about the ability to show your brand. If you want to see, like if you're going to hire somebody, I say go and see what they tweet about. Go and see what they post about on all of their social networks, because you're going to see in a hurry what matters. Do they use language of action? Do they use language of complaint? Are they talking about all of the things that, you know, people who waste time do, or are they actually showing up and doing the freaking work? And I like it because it forces you to get into that soundbite, right, that we were talking about, because you can only use 140 characters. And so Twitter's awesome. You can also, you know, use your trends over here on the left-hand side to see if there's something that you want to hop onto. You know, there's a conversation about, let's see what's trending. Teacher Appreciation Day. Right? Maybe, you know, that's something that's really important to you, and so you can pick that up and then elevate your brand, because somebody is more likely to click on that hashtag and then see your message than if you were just posting about something that wasn't trending, obviously. So love, love, love it, but just pick the one that feels right for you, and then use it regularly. You don't want to be like, okay, I just feel like I'm going to post today. No, think about it. What do you want that intention to be, right? You believe in your message. How much do you want to share it? Right? And if you say it's once a week, then fine, do it once a week. If you want to do it 3 times a day, fine, do it 3 times a day. But no, have that cadence and keep showing who you are. So I think those are the main things that I wanted to talk about with social, is that there's a lot of ways to share your message. Just get out and do it.
Nice, Sarah. And I love, I mean, Sarah's truly, you know, has built a great brand around this. And so I really appreciate you bringing all that good expertise here, because it's there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, we will keep moving, guys. I know we're running late here. A great format if you are doing some sort of a post. This is a simple little thing. If you print this out, and we'll share this with you guys. Stephanie, if you actually could take a screen capture of this and share this on with them in the email, that would be fantastic, because it's, one, take a stand. So what's your point of view on something? Two, what's your reason for the communication? So if you're getting ready to do a live stream, just think through this topic. You have your sound bite that your title that you're going to start with. Think about what's your point of view on it. What's your reason for communication? What do you want them to do with it? And three, what's in it for them if they take action? Why do they even care? If you answer those three questions and have a strong soundbite, you can put together a very, very quick little outline for yourself that you can use on any kind of a communication. So whether it's a video, whether it's something that you're just going to write out, whether it's an email, there's all different. If you follow this, I think it will be a nice little tool for you.
Absolutely. And it kind of goes back to, like, how do you, what's your process? How do you get work done? Are you just trying to, like, throw something up and see if it sticks, or are you moving laser focus that's totally in alignment with you, right? We keep saying that. We're beating that dead horse because it is so freaking important. And how you do your work definitely sets a tone for your brand. Right? Are you a creative genius, right? You don't need a schedule, you just kind of do things as you want. Or are you a planner to the T? Are you somebody that uses technology in the way that you do your work? What is your flow like? Because that definitely is impacting your brand. And if you feel like you've got this way of doing work that's really frazzled and not organized, no, that's probably going to show up at some level. But at the end of the day, that might not be a bad thing. That might just be a part of who you are, right? I know that my brand, how I get work done, is fast. Right? I talk fast, I go fast, I move fast, I expect fast results. I don't like small talk. I want to dive right into the heart of the issue. I don't sugarcoat stuff. That's how I move with my brand too. Again, like it or love it. If you're in my tribe, you'll totally freaking love it. So I've got to just embrace that, own it, and know that it's definitely impacting my brand. So I ask you now to just decide for a moment, how does how you work impact your raving fans? And why the hell does it matter? Connect with that just for a sec. And then move with us to our last idea of being visible with your brand. Right? And this one, I think, is, again, one of the biggest gold pieces that you're going to walk away with, is how you show love and appreciation to your tribe and those people that are around you is going to speak volumes about your brand. So how you feed and water your relationships, critical. How do you love on your people? And how does this impact your personal brand? One of the things that I think about is one of my favorite people in the world, and one of the ways that she shows me love and appreciation is that every holiday, no matter if it's a big one like Christmas or if it's a small one like St. Patrick's Day, I get a handwritten card in the mail. And that's just something, like, when I think of this person, it's like, her brand is that she thinks of me all the time and cares enough to take that moment to write me a special note, put a stamp on it, and then go and send it to me when I least expect it sometimes. So maybe, is that a part of how you love and appreciate your people? Is it a special text message? One of the things that I've been trying to do is send people that I love video messages. So I'll take a little snap of what my kids have been doing and send it, or an audio message. Instead of trying to text a message, just record, and all of your phones can do it. Just let them hear your voice instead of just your words. That might be a nice way to show some love. Right? Your time, obviously, the ability for you to drop everything and be there when that person needs it. Just want you to connect with the moment. Give yourself some love on how you show love and appreciation, and know that it's making a big, big impact.
So as we always do, TED Talk assignment here is Simon Sinek. He has a simple but powerful model for inspirational leadership, and his approach to looking under the covers of a brand starts with this golden circle around the question of why. I love this stuff. He digs into examples with Apple, Martin Luther King, the Wright brothers, but it's definitely worth going out and watching. And because all of you, whether you're thinking, TED Talk inspired, or whether it's, how you're showing up in your work and as an entrepreneur, whatever this is a great book to really help you discover what moves you and then create the means of moving others with your vision, because that's what you're doing. When you start looking at ways to matter, you are moving others with your vision. This is a great book that helps you kind of really look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah. So you guys have covered a lot of ground in the past 6 months. Holy moly, how is it that we're already into the 6th month of the year? But know that we're going to replay these greatest hits of our jam sessions. And so if you feel like you need to revisit something, then please feel free, because we're going to start again in June. And I'll tell you what, I was hearing somebody else talk the other day, and they were talking about just consumerism. And that a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people who want to be leaders, they just get stuck in consuming. And I'll tell you, I'm the first to say that I love to learn, but there's something to be said about, okay, I've consumed enough, but what am I going to do to act on it? Right? And so although you've heard the message once, say that I challenge you to come again and just say, what have I done since then? How has this made a difference in my life? Have I actually used it? Because that's where the real work begins. Right? These are all great ideas until you show up and actually do it. Right, so come and reconnect, replay, and have some fun. And just don't forget that Cami and I, we talk to you guys all the time, and we know that you're having conversations with others that need to do some amazing work. And we just want to always remind you, it would not be in integrity with us if we didn't say, pass the people along to us that you know that we can help, do some epic shit, because that's what we love to do. And that's part of our brand, so we got to ask. So thank you.
Yes, and we love. Obviously, this was a topic near and dear to both of our hearts, so thank you for your patience today and going a little bit longer, but we really wanted to bring all of this good information to you. So with that, we will sign off until next month, and we will see you around the bend. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.